Hi everyone, it's Bill Payne. We're sitting down with the team with Todd at Universal Pest Control, based in Ormond Beach, Florida. They've been protecting homes and businesses from pests and termites in Volusia and Flagler County since 1967. We're going to talk about how they got started, what services they offer, and what sets them apart as a trusted local company. So, hi Todd, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Bill.
Good. So let's start with a little background. How did Universal Pest Control get started?
Well, Universal Pest Control, as you mentioned, was started locally in 1967. It's been a family-owned business since then, but the Stebbleton family, including me, took responsibility in 1994.
Well, that's good. That's 30 years. I mean, even 30 years, almost 30 years prior to that and 30 years since then. So what values have guided the company, over the years and how do those show up in the way you treat your customers?
Well, it's interesting because Universal Pest Control, when we bought the company, did not enjoy a very good reputation in the community,
No, really?
and it took us a long time to turn that around. And in doing so, we recognize the value of being responsible and responsive to our customers. So that's a foundation of what we've built our reputation and our business on. Solving problems and being a reliable partner to our customers.
Yeah, I know that one of the things that I've always valued in our relationship with you, because of course we use you as our pest control company, is that you'll tell the truth basically. If I remember one time I found a flying ant on my back porch and I was terrified that it was a termite, and I sent a picture, and I think a less scrupulous companies might have said, yeah, that could be termites. Let's sell you a really expensive treatment, and you said it's a flying ant and it's nothing to worry about.
Yep. Yep. Unfortunately, this industry does have a lot of bad actors, and our community enjoys a fair number of them. But that makes it easy for us to stand out. Just an honest approach to the pest control program sets us completely apart from so many of them. And that's not to say that all of them are bad actors, because there's not. There's some good companies that do the same type of work that we do. But we rise above them as well, and not only our customer service, but honesty plays such a big role. And I can say that it's not just the office staff, but the field staff share that value, or they wouldn't work for us.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've seen over the years. So that's awesome. You guys have a bunch of different services that you offer. So let's run through them one by one. So the first thing we'll talk about is the big picture kind of pest control services. What can you tell us about the general pest control services and what types of pests do you treat and how does the process work for the customers?
Uh, well, we've got basically two pest control programs. Um, well, actually, we have three. Two of them are a lot more prevalent in our company than the other one. But in the services for general pests include an annual program, a quarterly program, and to a small degree, monthly service as well. Those programs are all designed to address common household bugs like roaches, spiders, ants, silverfish, and a handful of others. Um, the customer can expect an inside treatment, an outside treatment, and any special attention that might be required for an unusual infestation. We do customize each program. Some people have allergies to some of the products we use. Some have concerns about small children or pets. So we can customize any of our programs to suit the needs of the family that we're working with. Another thing that's very important to us is the environment. And the programs that we have are designed to have a light touch on the environment. And well, as long as we're controlling the pests in people's homes and protecting their homes and their families, most people are very receptive to that type of approach.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and I know the one of the slogans that we've seen for the company over the years is destroying pests, not the planet, which is something that's really important to a lot of people. So it's great that you all do that. And I think you make an effort particularly for like pollinators and stuff. So the services that you do don't basically kill bees and butterflies and things like that. Is that right?
That's correct. The products that we use, if they're going to control pests in your home or around your home, are also going to kill the pollinators if we're not diligent in how we handle that. So, we try to take the environment into every treatment, and it's I guess, our policy. What we don't spray is just as important as what we do. We use products that have the smallest environmental impact, and even if they're naturally derived or synthetics, it really doesn't matter. What we're looking for is the smallest quantity of what we need to use to control the problem at hand and prevent future problems. So
Right. And I think sometimes unfortunately people think they hear like, it's environmentally like friendly or whatever, and they think it's not effective, but it's very effective. I can speak for myself that we don't see any bugs. But if people do see bugs, what do they do?
just give us a call. It's not your problem to worry about if you're a customer of ours. Your first move should be to give us a call and let us take it from there. Uh,
Okay, that's great. Yeah, so basically you'll come out and if something's going on, you'll come out and retreat just as a part of the annual service fee that they already paid. Is that what I
you
understand?
bet. You bet.
Okay, cool. Well, let's jump to a big problem in Florida, something that we've had to deal with from time to time is termite treatments. So it's a really big thing. Can you run through what the termite services you provide, what different termites there are,
Sure.
like inspections, treatments, preventions, just a whole thing, and maybe give people some tips as to, how they can identify, like infestation or identify a flying ant versus a termite.
Sure. Sure. Well, there are basically three types of termites that we're dealing with in Volusia and Flagler counties. First is subterranean termite. Second is drywood termite, and new to the stage is Formosan termite. It's a non-native species that has kind of taken foothold in both New Smyrna and areas of Ormond Beach. We have services designed to control each of those. As a homeowner, if you plan on keeping your property, I encourage everybody to have their home treated for subterranean termites. That's a preventative treatment that there's some different types of treatments available. Some concern baits and some use more conventional liquid perimeter treatments around the foundation of the home. We subscribe to the old school preventative liquid barrier treatment around the foundation. Um, Not to say that the baiting systems aren't good. I just don't think they're as effective. They were a good tool back in the day when termiticides weren't reliable in the 80s and the early 90s, actually all the way through the 90s until 2000. A product called Termidor became available, and we were one of the pioneers that started using that back in September of 2000. And our termite program, has relied on that exclusively with outstanding results. So it's not only a product uh, that will prevent termites, but it will kill termites if you have them in your home. Properly done, it's a treatment that'll last at least 7 years. So when it comes to subterranean termites, if you plan on taking a proactive approach to your home, have a preventative treatment done, have the inspections done each year, and that's the best you can do as a homeowner. The drywood termites are a little bit different. We've got a different service for that. And I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later, but drywood termites can't really be prevented in the way that subterranean termites can. There's not a treatment available to keep them um, from showing up at your house. And that's not what some of the bigger companies will tell you. They'll tell you there's a preventative treatment available. They'll do a treatment of some kind up in the attic. Now, people aren't real sure what that is, but
Right.
they'll offer them a bond that will protect them or give them, I guess, some peace of mind. But it's really not effective. It's a spot treatment situation. The prevention part of it really doesn't work at all. So when it comes to drywood termites, there's really little a homeowner should do or could do other than respond if you have them. If they're caught early enough, there's some treatments that can be done locally to control an infestation. Um, and that's what a homeowner should do. If you want to do anything to prevent drywood termites, the best I can say is from the months of basically April until September. Don't leave security lights on outside if you can help it. Don't leave porch lights on. Keep your curtains drawn because those bugs, like so many, are drawn towards light. They swarm in the evening. They'll fly towards light, and if yours is the brightest light around, they're going to show up there.
Hmm.
Uh, Best thing you can do as a homeowner would be if you have to have security lights or you have to have lights, use lights that have a yellow cast to them and not white or blue because The yellow light doesn't tend to draw them like the other color lights do. So kind of keep that in mind. And if you suspect anything that you might have a termite problem, give us a call. We're happy to come out and take a look at it. If it's something you need to worry about, we can let you know right away. If it's something you don't need to worry about, then you can just, it's peace of mind. You can just move on.
Yeah, well, those are good tips. So if what should people look for to identify a potential infestation, like when they should call Universal?
Anytime you see a bug that you're not familiar with, and you're concerned about it, you can reach out to us. We have a cell phone that we keep in the office for pest identification, and we just ask customers or potential customers or anyone in the community just to send us over a picture of what you're seeing. A lot of times we can identify it just from a text picture, and then advise you from there. But if it's something we can't identify, we'll get you on the schedule and come out and take a look at it for you and offer some suggestions for solutions.
Okay, cool. So the drywood termites, I believe, is going to take us into the next question, which is tent fumigation. So tell us about tent fumigation, what it's used for. What does the process look like for the homeowner? Is it safe? Like what are some things that a homeowner, what are the typical questions that somebody's going to ask you?
And this is something we've been dealing with a lot this summer. We've had a very active drywood termite season here in Volusia County. Um, Drywood termites, if you once they're identified and you have a situation that requires a fumigation, the fumigation process involves putting a tarp over the entire house, and introducing a gas that will not only kill the adult termites, but it kills the eggs and all stages in between. It also works for powder post beetles, old house borers, and lately we've been doing quite a few bed bug treatments. Bed bugs are very difficult to get rid of, and a fumigation is a great option for getting rid of them.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, and keep it in mind, it sounds expensive when you compare it to other treatments, but other treatments that are less effective have to be done a couple of times, and by the time you go through that, you're usually better off just doing a fumigation to start with, and it's one and done.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes
cust
sense.
yeah. And again, it's a little bit expensive, but any treatment for bed bugs is going to be. Um, the fumigation process from the customer standpoint is difficult. We work with a lot of families to prep their house and manage expectations and work through the process. It's the only treatment that we do that really asks a lot of the homeowner. In preparation for a fumigation, most food needs to be taken from your home. There's a few exceptions there, but we tell people right off the bat, expect to have to take everything out. Um, there's generally preparation that needs to be done on the outside of the house to allow the tents to seal to the ground. That involves, trimming landscape, raking mulch, that type of thing. The other thing that really creates a hardship is that it's a 3-day treatment. For instance, if the tent goes up on Monday morning, it comes down on Tuesday morning, and then the house has to ventilate until Wednesday. So we tell people you can get back in your house, but it could be late in the day on Wednesday. So it involves hotel reservations, staying with friends, family, that type of thing. In addition to family being out, pets have to be out. Fish tanks, aquariums, if you have them, need to be dealt with, and it can be a real project. And it usually takes a homeowner a couple of days to manage all that. We work with them side by side to be sure that those requirements are met, but we don't want a homeowner to do anything more than is absolutely necessary. Um, the fumigant that we use is called sulfurofluoride, and it's known as Vicane is the trade name. It's a true gas, and when we introduce it into a house, it's odorless and colorless. So we use a product called chlorpicrin, which is basically tear gas. It's an agent that will let somebody know that there's something in the house or in the structure that they don't want to be in, and it'll force you right back out. So those two products are introduced into the house. Neither one of them will leave a residual on anything. So where some people will view fumigation and think aerosol like a fogger that you get at the
Right.
hardware
Yeah.
store. Yeah, it's not that at all. There's no particles to it. It's just, um, I guess an analogy is if you ever open a helium balloon, you open it and the helium escapes, but it just disappears. And
Right.
that's the same thing that the gas will do, the sulfurylfluoride. Well, once the tarp is taken off, it doesn't attach itself to any of your personal items, silverware, linens, you know, pots and pans, that type of thing. People often will want to wash them. It's peace of mind, but it's generally not necessary.
Yeah. And I remember talking to you about this one time before, and basically you have to guarantee that they cannot be any trace of that gas in the house before, before you call it all clear. Is that right?
That's true. Yep, there are very sensitive instruments that are used to read the gas down to 0 parts per million. And back in the day, um, the threshold for reentry was 2 or 3 parts per million, which is still a very, very small dose. But state law now and the label all indicate that it can be 0 parts per million. So a house
Oh,
has to be completely evacuated before anybody is allowed to go back in.
yeah. Well, that's good. That's good to know. So
Yep.
that takes us pretty well into my next question, which is about safety, training, customer experience. A lot of people are concerned about chemicals for their pets. I know this is something that we worry about. How do you approach the safety of that kind of thing?
Well, we don't we don't have occasion to hire people very often. Our staff has been very very long term and loyal, so we don't go through this very often. But typical training for our technicians, for example, would be a 2 week ride with an experienced technician. And then we also have classes available that we like to send our technicians to that are offered by University of Florida and also the state of Florida Department of Entomology. And those classes not only help to identify insects and treatments, but also safe handling of chemicals, how to do cleanups if you were to spill a chemical, what the hazards of handling chemicals are, and what personal safety equipment is needed, respirators, goggles, long sleeves, all of those types of things. So the training is it's pretty extensive and it includes a lot more than just pest identification and, you know, spray whatever you have to, uh, more is better type of an approach. Um, Understanding the label, understanding the capability of products, learning how to manage those. But another thing that a new hire would learn running with our technicians is what our corporate culture is, what we offer the customer. It's we build a relationship with our customers. That's important. And managing their expectations. We don't want to go in and overpromise somebody and underdeliver. We try to go in and identify what their problem is, tell them what to expect, tell them what we're going to do to help solve the problem, and then tell them or ask them what they can do to help us do a better job. That way we establish a partnership and new hires, we can identify pretty quick if they're going to share that outlook and that view. If they're not, then we have a probationary period and they don't survive that. Um, Career wise, we move on to somebody else that will offer the customer those values. Um, it into for instance here in our relationship with the customer, one that we run into quite often is ants. Ants in the kitchen, ants in the bathroom. It's a real common problem. We generally rely on baits to solve those problems, and a customer understandably doesn't want to tolerate ants on their kitchen counter or on their bathroom vanity. If we put baits out and they spray those baits, for instance, the ants won't go in them anymore. It renders them completely useless at that point. And I know the customers will think they're trying to help, and a lot of times they can't help themselves. They have to spray something, but it kind of defeats what we're trying to do to help them. And that's why partnership and managing expectations is so important.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. So from the customer's point of view, what's the typical experience from the first call to the follow-up?
Um, we still have a very hands-on approach. I know the bigger companies, if you try and call them, you're going to get a telephone tree and you're going to have, 100 options to try and get your problem solved so they can get you to the right person. A customer or an interested party that would call us, our phone is answered by a person, number one. So they're going to expect to talk to somebody. It'll be one of our office staff will identify what type of problem they're having, and then um, you know, quote them a price if it's a service that they're interested in. We'll get them on the schedule. If it's something they're unsure of or our staff is unsure of and a way to price it, we'll usually me, I'll go out and take a look and see what service would be the most appropriate for whatever problem they're having. Once that's done, then we set a time and a day and a technician. We set a 2 hour window in which to expect our technician to show up. The customer's going to know who that is, what the person's name is, what time they're supposed to be there. And a lot of times the customer will want to call ahead. We also will provide that an hour or a half hour before our technician is supposed to arrive. Um, One concession to technology that we've made recently is an automated call ahead. So if you have an appointment the day before, you can expect a reminder phone call from our scheduling platform to tell you and remind you that you have an appointment the following day. Um, the technician, when he arrives, will introduce himself, number one, if you're a new customer, and then try to identify what type of problem you're having. Just simple question: what are you seeing? What can we help you with? And then whatever the service is required, that'll be done. And then when the service is finished, then our technician, we expect to be paid when we finish the service. So payment at the time of service. Before the technician leaves, if there's a follow-up needed, we generally will set that appointment. If we need a 2 week follow-up for whatever reason or a 1 week follow-up, we try to schedule that before the technician leaves the house or leaves the customer. So that way it's on the books. If anything needs to be done in the interim, then the customer will know what to do and what to expect. Um, and that's pretty much it. And then, for our annual programs like our termite service and our annual pest control programs, um, 11 months after the service is done, we'll send out a postcard as a reminder asking our customer to call and schedule an appointment for for the renewal treatment. And if that is um, doesn't raise a response, then the office staff will usually call once or twice to see if we can, get on the books and get a service appointment set.
Cool. And just to reiterate from what we touched on before, if in during that 11 months or 12 months they see bug, they can just call and say, "Hey, I saw a bug," and you'll come back out and retreat.
You bet. Yep.
Yeah.
We have our warranty lists a handful of bugs that are guaranteed and we always come out for those, but we'll take a shot at anything. We'll help our customers if we can, but a lot of times they're seasonal bugs, love bugs, for instance. We can't really do anything about that.
Right.
Millipedes are another one that we experience from time to time, and they're actually a lawn pest. But sometimes we can help our customers. They're not part of the guarantee, but we'll go take a shot at it and see if we can give them some relief from a
Well,
from
that's
a
great. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about team culture earlier, but um, what keeps your staff motivated and proud to work there, and why do you have so little turnover, do you think?
Well, we try to identify people that are a good fit to start with, but if they're working here, they're natural problem solvers. We're in a business to make money like every small business is, but we're problem solvers. And that's what's most important, not only to me, but to the entire staff. We're here to help people solve bug problems. It's not glamorous. Our toolbox looks a little different than somebody else's might, but on a most basic level, we want to help people and we want to help solve problems, and that's kind of the primary focus of the company. And we want to treat our customers respectfully and build relationships with them. We've got customers that have been with us since I started back in '95. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
impressive. I remember when we first started working together, you would say that you're the new guy and you've been there for 20 years or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
that's a pretty impressive track record. So let's continue that. So, as a locally owned company, which you have been, for all these years, how do you stay connected to the community, and what does it mean to you to serve your neighbors?
Well, we encourage all of our staff to get involved and stay engaged in some form, whether it's through church or through, organizations that they belong to, because that's where the relationships start. When you can build trust with somebody, whether it's a golf league, fishing club, or any of those types of things, church, those relationships translate into opportunities for us. And that's important. So we're always on the lookout for ways to help people and help groups. One of the groups that we've been associated with for more than 20 years has been Habitat for Humanity. We had the opportunity to get involved with Habitat in Volusia County uh, back in the very early 2000s, if it wasn't the late 90s, performing pre-treats for their new construction. And we've always offered those at a deep, deep discount as an opportunity to give back. And then we also help, you know, uh, customers for Habitat for Humanity. We offer them pest control services when we can help. And that led to a relationship more recently with Habitat for Humanity in Flagler County. And we do extensive work for them as well. So I think we have been responsible for more than 200 houses over the past 20 years.
Wow, that's
Um,
impressive.
it's been a great relationship, and we're proud to be part of that.
Yeah. So, what's coming up for Universal Pest Control? Are there any new services, service areas, or anything on the horizon you want to talk about?
Um, As far as service areas go, we're comfortable with where we are. We're able to provide top-notch service. We've got quick response time. If we start reaching out farther and geographically, then it's going to get harder to do that. So we've done it before. We've drawn back a little bit, and we're kind of in our sweet spot now where we can provide good, high-quality service in a timely manner. So geographic expansion isn't really part of it. Services, we're always looking at new products, new problems. We have new species that are coming to the area that may result in some newer programs for us. But what we're really trying to do is build efficiency into the company. And we've managed to use technology to do that for many years. We're better at what we do. Our products, the pest control products that we have now are better than they've ever been. So we're just trying to build efficiency and elevate the customer's experience. Um, and, you know, again, solve the problems as quickly and efficiently as we can.
Yeah, and that's it. It fits with everything you've said. It's all about providing the best service you can from, not growing too big so you're not responsive and making sure that you have things in place to take care of whatever the latest things are. So if someone is watching this and is considering pest control, or maybe they had a bad experience with another company, what would you want to know about choosing Universal Pest Control?
We're a small family company, but we have a big footprint. We provide a lot of different service and provide a lot of value with those services. Um, I would encourage anyone that's looking at pest control or termite to be diligent, talk to companies, and understand, especially when it comes to termites, that you're in a long-term relationship with your company. It's not something that's going to be one and done because if you do a termite treatment with a company, you're going to get a bond either for 5 years or 7 years or possibly 10. Um, you're going to have a relationship with that company for better or worse. You want to deal with someone you trust, someone that's responsible, someone that's honest, and that's someone that's going to be a reliable partner through that relationship. Um, and speaking for my staff and myself, for most people, we're that company.
Yeah, I can speak for that myself. So well said. Thanks so much for giving us a behind the scenes look today at Universal Pest Control. And I'll just give you a plug for anybody that's in Volusia or Flagler County that wants to protect your home or business the right way, with really good pest control, but it's also environmentally friendly. Definitely, you can trust the team at Universal Pest Control. You can reach out at bugandtermitecontrol.com or you can call them at 386-673-1557. Thanks for the time today, Todd.
Thanks, Bill. Really enjoyed it.